right in, we are diving into a roadmap to transformation, a roadmap to elevation. Whatever it is that you want to call it, we are going to dive into the series of faith. But before we dive into the series of faith, I want us to understand where we are starting from. For those of you that are in the group, I actually shared something. It was a fillable PDF template. And I said that, you know what, fill it and give it back to me. And this was to ask you where you feel stuck. This was to ask you the top 3 things that you want to achieve before the close of this year. And this was to find out the 10 things that are hindering you from actually getting into the levels that you want to be able to get into. All right? Yeah? And I think I asked about that 10 other things, or the 10 things that you would want to achieve in 2026. Now, why was I asking about those things? What I was drawing you to is the awareness of where you are, the awareness and the recognition of where you are. And that is number 1 in the roadmap to transformation. The full, the honest awareness and recognition of where you are with a full-on magnifying lens, yeah? With not lying to yourself. Getting back, because the world can call you anything. The world can think everything is good on your. Have you ever seen someone and you're like, oh my God, if I had her life, like I would be done. But that person, they are looking at you and they are thinking, this person has no problem in the world. Like they are carrying many issues on their lives. The dresses that we put on hide so many things. The creams and the mascaras of this world, they hide so many things. Talk about the foundation. They hide so many things. The lipstick. When someone doesn't have, there is a way lipstick elevates people's looks. As in, oba child, yeah, wanga you look naga like, oh yeah, utuba njogenda, toina ko kantu kona kumumwa, all of a sudden you slap on a red one and all of a sudden you look like you have an agenda. Yeah? Yeah? And when you get to the stylists, yeah, and the wardrobe consultants, like my friend Doha, Daphne Doha, yeah? I mean, when they tell you that, you know what, put on that airline, and when you put on that airline, it goes shaking and you feel like, yeah, this is it. And, but the issue is, just like the Bible says that the heart is sick, yeah? Omutima gulwadde ndwadde etakola ki? Now, when the heart is sick and you cannot admit that the heart is sick, some of us are sick but we are running very fast. We are sick but we are serving so much. We are sick as in you, there is a level that you got used to. Maybe you had some money and now everyone still knows you at that level, but for you, you know that you have come down, yeah? But it's hard to admit in other people's, and by the way, sometimes it's hard to admit to yourself. You will go and you tell your kids, let's go for ice cream. And then, as in, you even remember later that, by the way, I would not have spent this money on ice, like I had better things to. I would have stocked some beans and some posho so that we can continue eating. Why are you laughing? No laughing in this place. Let me speak my truth and my truth in peace. Yeah? So, there are sometimes you even say, you know what, you're supposed to go somewhere and you're like, your car has broken down. For those of you that are driving, you even don't have fuel. And let me tell you, you will go to Momo and borrow, or you will go to some of your bank accounts can give you money, can overdraw. And like, why? Because you want to maintain status quo and the picture. But the thing is, are you aware and radically aware and recognize where you are? When you are between you and God, where everyone thinks you are so spiritual and you speak in tongues, or you are so spiritual, you read your Bible and you can't remember the last time you actually read your Bible. And between you and God, you know the truth. That, by the way, all you have been doing is Instagram is your Bible. Whoever drops a devotion is what you read. And then sometimes when you're referring, you're like, you know, in the morning I was reading my Bible. What morning were you reading your Bible actually? Do you see the honest truth? Yeah? Because we can lie to everyone else, but I don't want us to become, and I will use it the way it is, I don't want us to become psychopaths. Because it's psychopaths that lie to themselves. Do you know a psychopath will lie to themselves and they will accept? You've never seen liars. I have worked with liars and I have seen liars that believe their own lies. They will defend it. When you ask them from all angles, they have answers. And when they lie to you, they know where they stopped with a lie. When they lie to another person and it will be a different lie, and they know where they stopped. And they will lie to like 15 people with different clusters of lies, and they will know where they stopped. And next time they find you, they will not start on another person's lie. They will start exactly where they left you off. The other people have the Holy Spirit. I don't know whether it is the Holy or the... But the thing is, as we close the year, I want you to be radically honest. That yes, I have the radical faith of doing the things that I need to do, moving the way I need to move, but in my secret place with God, I am going to admit I don't know. In my secret place with God, I'm going to admit I'm not a good timekeeper. In my secret time with God, I am going to admit I have just refused to do what I know to do. Isn't that the honest truth? Some of us know what to do, but we are not doing it, right? You know you're supposed to create digital products, but you're not creating digital products. And by the way, you screenshot everything that you find on social media that talks about digital products. You know all the procedures. Even if I asked you, you will tell me level by level that do you know that you can create a digital product like this, and then you can upload it here, and then all of a sudden you start selling. Do you know that in just one hour, it is enough for you to create a digital product and upload it and start selling it? And then I will ask you 2 years from now, have you ever created a digital product? You'll be like, but sometimes I don't think people will buy it. You will have all sorts of excuses. Why don't you do it and just shock God so that God can also shock you? Won't you? Sometimes shock yourself. But I want you to be aware. Number one, aware, the recognizing of the current level. And you say that the reason as to why I'm not making headway, is because of my disbelief and my mindset. The reason that I am not, because a lot happens in your life as a result of your mindset, guys. As a result of your mindset. And if God is to change you, the first thing he changes is your head. Because he knows that it is the one that keeps us so closed in and so stuck. So your mindset and your belief system, if you don't believe that something, some of us, when we talk about alignment, we throw that line a lot. Have you seen it? ChatGPT using it a lot, and people using it a lot. Alignment, alignment, alignment. Who knows the definition of alignment? You don't even know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's why we have to be radically honest. At some point I had to say, you know what? I have read the word alignment long enough. I need to understand what alignment actually means. And it's not so far from us. Alignment is wesuliseterera. Omanyi wesuliseterera, as in oyogera bidala, okola bidala. Can you be congruent with what you are doing? As in, what you believe is different. You're here saying, you know what, I have faith in God and I know God is going to do it, and I know now. Let your actions reflect that. Then write that book. Then create that content. Then start that business. Then enter that ministry. As in, whatever it is that you need to do, create that course. Then, create that event. Why? You are acting in alignment with the faith that you have, that actually everything with God, everything is possible. That before I was born in my mother, before I was conceived, God knew me and he had a plan for me. Yeah? And he says that he consecrated me for such a time as this. Now, that is what the Bible says, and that is what your faith apparently says in quotes. But because you don't believe it, you're not going to activate it. So now you're going to act against, you're going to profess so many things when you're in church, when you're in places where you are charged and motivated, and then when you go home, you go back to living your normal life. And one day passes, another day passes, then, because we are women, sometimes you just find yourself and you're like, oh, I'm growing more fat. And then the other day, you're like, my skin is getting spoiled. As in, there are things we worry about, that we even have no business worrying about. If you're chasing up the next deal, for some of us that have created some courses, like Kathy, I think you have seen how much work goes into and how it keeps you busy. Now tell me how you will think about how your face is breaking out and how you gained weight. As in, you will be thinking about getting an extra person into that course. You will be thinking about sponsoring that ad. You will be thinking about calling someone to shoot those videos. You will be thinking, you will be thinking, you will be thinking. And that is why for the people that are in this cohort, we start at creating offers. We don't start at theory. Creating offers. Why? Because when you have something to think about, when you pray from a place of faith, and then you align that faith with actions. Now, some of us are out of alignment. Our mindsets are saying different, and our belief system are saying different. Have you ever seen someone who says, "Tukikole ekijja kukola naye mu mutima ng'alina ekyogera nti tekijja kukola naye munagezaako bimeka?" And I know sometimes it has been you. You see other people, they are trying to do marvelous things and amazing things. So while you're saying, now here, I should not be the enemy of progress. When I start saying that things will not work, people will think I'm negative. So let me tell them that how many times, that for those of you that have husbands, you have told your husband, I think that deal is good. It is really good. But in your heart, you're like, I don't think it's going to work. Yeah? So tell me how you are going to pray for that deal with one heart. Even when you start praying, the other heart, the belief will come and you'll be like, but why are you even wasting your time? But the moment you believe and you're like, this is it. Do you know that sometimes you can believe in something more than your spouse believes in? For they are just telling you, and now you go ahead of them. But you know that if it works out, it can be like this, and then it can be this. When you go in a place of prayer, you can even sweat. You're like, God, soften their hearts. You know, I come against everything that can jeopardize this deal. Why? You are in alignment. Your belief system and your prayer points are in alignment. Now, do we understand alignment? So do we understand that so many times we act out of alignment? So many times, and I will tell you that you can never be out of alignment and achieve any goal that you have set for the year. You can never. It's like, let me just give a weird example. A bicycle, yeah? It cannot move when it's out of alignment. A car can move because it has 4 tires, right? So one could be going this side, but these ones are pulling it this side. A motorcycle has 2. And it is, most of the times, manual, some of them. So, just tell me how the chain, the lujegere, is out of alignment and the bicycle is still moving. Isn't that witchcraft? How many of us have seen some of you are Gen Zs, you have never seen bicycles. People don't know bicycles in this place. You know bicycles. So you know they cannot move without that lujegere being in alignment. You don't know the lujegere. Now this one is the headmaster of Gen Zs. Yeah, so that is how, I mean, you would be riding, and then some of you temumanyi fe twavugirako muchenda, you put the other leg the other side and and then you start. Yeah, but the thing is, when it goes out of alignment, you have to stop, put it back, and then ride again. Now, some of us, the reason as to why these sessions are here is for us to pause long enough to put back the chain in its alignment. And say, God, I want to be in one spirit, in one accord with your word. If you say that it is possible, it is indeed possible. And faith, I redefined faith as acting like everything God says is true. Acting like what everything, because when we say faith is a substance of things hoped for, that seems like, of things hoped for. So, but when I say faith is acting like everything God says is true. So when he says that I'm the apple of his eye, ngamba nkwatako, world, touch me, there, touch me like this. I am hot. You know, I am protected. There is nothing. And let me tell you, the level of our faith, the level of our belief is so attractive, and it's so magnetic, and it is so manifesting. And it's so manifesting. When you believe that there is no sorcery against Jacob, against Israel, let me tell you, someone can undress all they want. Yeah? They can spread their legs all they want and say every word that they have been told to say. And they will go back with their witchcraft. And you will remain normal. And they will look at you. There is someone who has ever told me that, naye omulogo walabika si wa Uganda. Omulogo wange. And in my heart I was like, indeed omulogo wange si wa Uganda. Katonda wa Uganda. Wanje. Katonda wansi yonna. Why? You can do everything because they had tried everything in their power. And guess what? It was not just backfiring, but it was going back and doing what they sent it to do to me, to them. Yeah? And my belief is, try everything you can. Until you get old and you grow gray hair and you have wrinkles, even on your own tumbwe, wrinkles when they are falling like this, you will never touch a hair on my head. And that is case closed. It is not debatable. Does God give a chance to debate? He does not give a chance to debate. He says it and he says it. That is it. If there is no witchcraft, there is no witchcraft. But the thing is, some of us, because we live out of alignment, even when we say it with our voices that are quite chill, like, let me say it, people might say, I'm here bragging, I am here. It's okay, let me brag. Sometimes it takes your bragging, and sometimes I think of heaven things. When you brag too much, God sits in heaven and is like, nah, you've never thought about it like that? Yeah? No, has your child ever said, today morning, Asahel was like, mommy is going to beat you. If you touch me, mommy is going to beat you. And indeed, like I felt like, because Ariel had done something. Ariel wanted him to watch, as he was watching Spider-Man on his iPad, and the other one was watching Dinosaur. Now, Ariel wanted him to watch Spider-Man. So he pushed his face with his nails. And like they were cutting inside his cheek. And I was like, but mommy is going to beat you. If you dare touch me, mommy is going to beat you. And indeed, I felt like I could go to war for him. Because when someone says mommy is going to beat you, then you feel like you should do something. Yeah? But some of us, we fight our own battles. So even God says, let me see how far you can go. Hasn't it happened it has happened in your life? And it's like, ka heartbreak kaze, na yo musajja tomuganya kuwumula omukuta akakongo vule tomuleka. You're claiming him, you're claiming you're blinding his eyes, he will never see anyone. And God is like, let me see how that will end. And sometimes in premium, tears. And it's like, until you come back to me, the one who has the king's hearts in my hands, I can make them face anywhere that I want them to face. So come to me, the one that is the God of all flesh, and there is nothing that is too hard for me. So why don't we take the things to him? Is it pride? Is it our mindset? Is it our disbelief? Yeah? So, number one, you understand where you are. Number two, strategic knowledge. Strategic knowledge. Now, the strategic knowledge or structured knowledge, that comes in so many ways. Some of us are getting it through books, and that is direct mentorship. As in, it is distilled knowledge. It is, as in, some of us are waiting so that we can just pave the clear ways or new ways, and I want to do something new that has never been done before. There is nothing new that you're going to do that has never been done before. Let's agree on that first, right? So if there is nothing new you're going to do, that means whatever you want to do, someone else has done it. Now, the wise are the ones who don't say, I want to fight and break the path and do new things. The wise are the ones who say, who are doing it and they have results and I can be able to be mentored by them. Because what they are doing is they are collapsing 15 years of their lives and they are giving it to you in 1 month. 15 years of their life and of their journey, and they're giving it to you in a course of 10 hours. And they're like, if you can watch this, this is a sure way of you cutting through the noise of the market and positioning yourself. Now, strategic, after you have known that, by the way, awareness, this is where I am stuck. Awareness, I know that I have a calling, but I have not yet found my purpose. So can I have someone help me find my purpose in the shortest way possible? Why do I want to take it the longer way? Some of us took it the longer way. Do you know how I found my purpose? It was too long. It was too weird and too bad. Because here I was a failure. I have no money to go to school. And then I'm thinking, you know what? I should go to the village and start a shop because it's a virgin ground. And then I'm in the village, in a shop, a beautiful young girl. You're in the village, you're selling, you're in a counter that does not have any phone, that does not have any airtime, but you are seated there, you're opening the counter. By the time rent comes, you cannot pay your rent, but you're also, God was taking me through all that to show me what life was, but it was a hard period. So when I remember sitting down and even bringing my brothers to come and see me in Kayunga, and I remember that's the first time they saw movies and they watched a TV because there was like a TV in the shop. And they were like, oh my God, like our sister Mazeko. But guess what? I was sleeping behind in a shop. So the front part was a shop and the behind part was where I was sleeping. And that was the store. That was everything. Guys, now kanika kumasimu. Yes. No yambaza housing, no gamba kakatika mouthpiece ke kali no obuzibu, no kakanika, no tewali chesakola. But the thing is, one day when I looked at my sisters and brothers, and I was like, you know what? If I stop at this level, they will think this is the best level. Because when they came and I could at least buy food, good food, and which good food was Irish potatoes and goat's meat. For them in their lives, they had never seen a thing like that. Because at home, all we would do sometimes is posho, and then we would have, what is it, wheat flour. So you had some wheat flour, packet, and you're like, now let's mix wheat, because we don't have sauce, let's mix wheat flour, put in water, put in salt, and then we eat that with posho. Just imagine, now they have come to their sister in Kayunga who can manage 2 kilos of goat's meat, fresh goat's meat, yeah? And then there is Irish potato, and they eat and they watch Kyle X on TV. And then they told me, I saw the amazement on their eyes. And they were like, oh my God, like our sister has made it in life. So in my heart, I was like, if I stop at this level, that means they will think this is the ceiling. Now I am dreaming big to come back to town and go back to school. And while I go back to school, I'm given an offer of, you do finance because, there are companies, you can work in companies and stuff like that. But I feel something different, but I can't point a finger to it because I've never seen someone do it. I have never seen anyone do it. So I go to Kyambogo and I look at their notes board and the courses that were available. So I go course by course because poor me, I want to come back to Kampala and do a course, but I don't know which course I should be able to do. But I've been told I should do finance. So I go armed with my finance, but in my heart I knew, no, I do not want to do finance. And then I start checking the courses, and guess what? When I saw guidance and counseling, that's where my heart got stuck. When my heart got stuck, I registered without telling anyone. And guess what? My husband was my friend then, and he was going to help me with a tuition. So when I got back to him, I was like, so you registered? I was like, yes, I registered. What exactly are you going to do? Did you choose finance? I was like, no, I did not choose finance. I'm going to do a counseling and guidance. I was like, okay, if that's what you feel on your heart, then go ahead and do that. Now, the thing is, for me, it was a rudimentary kind of discovering myself because I did not even finish the course. And already I had started, as in I was in the course and whatever they were teaching. Do you know that God can teach you certain things and you feel like you are ahead of people? I felt like I was ahead of the lecturers. I felt like they were giving me things that would not apply in this generation, but I had to go to school anyway. But then I told them I'm going to start my own private firm, and then I'm going to have a counseling firm, and then, I'm going to employ people, and some of them had never had it. They had never had it. And what broke the camel's back was me sitting with one of my professors in the final stages of finishing the course, and I was going through my own pains and heartbreaks. So I sit with her. I tell her, you know what? I really want to go through my issues because I really need help. And then I empty my heart. I tell her everything. I even cry. And guess what? She was a good woman, you know, a nice old woman. And then she looked at me and she's like, Hilda, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. Believe me, you're going to be fine. Yeah, everything will be okay. And so I was expecting more. And there was no more coming. It was about smiling and telling me I was going to be okay. And I was like I got so annoyed. I got out of the counseling room before it finished. And then I was like, you know what? So every time I was walking on the streets of Kyambogo, I was seeing girls and I was like, it's possible she has a problem and she has no one to talk to. It's possible she has a problem and she has no one to talk to. If these old people are going to tell us that it is going to be fine and they're going to stop at that, now that means something different needs to come into this market. That is how I get into relationships. That was a rude awakening to my purpose. That there is something more. I can speak into people's lives. I can be able to rewire their brains, to reprogram their minds, to know that if someone left them, let them go. Let them work on themselves. Let them find purpose. Let them be happy. You know, your purpose is not revolving around someone's life. And so I became like the John the Baptist of this world. I started screaming the message on Facebook everywhere. Before you know it, I'm on TV, I'm in magazines, and I am sitting people, I am talking to people, I'm invited for speaking engagements. Why? When something wakes up in your mind, yeah? When you get the structure, now for me, I did not even get the structure because that is where we are. I did not even get the strategic knowledge. No, for me it was God bumping into me, knocking my head into its senses, bumping into scenarios, and I figured it out along the way. It's like someone dumping you into a river, and it is a deep river, but you have to swim across the other side. That is what I did. Now, after I swam and I was on the other side, and now I could hold the grass and I could hold the bank, that is when I was like, you know what? I think there is no one mentoring coaches in this city. There is no one mentoring people into finding their purpose, into branding, there is no one doing that. So that is exactly what I am going to do. And I will tell you, as we speak, more than 1,000 people have gone through accelerated mentorship. They are practicing their calling. They are earning money. They are driving agendas. They have empires, they have companies, they are doing well. And even those that have not even started, because we are not all going to mature at the same pace, they are on their way becoming. But the strategic knowledge that collapses time. You don't need to go 20 years in order to learn to be a good coach, in order to learn to be a good public speaker, in order to learn ministry, in order to learn. There's someone that has done that and you can be able to learn from them. All right? So get the refined knowledge through books, through courses, through mentorships, whatever it is, let your heart desire to know more. The season we are getting into, the level that we are getting into, you're not just going to appear without knowledge. No, you have to appear armed with knowledge. You have to appear armed with so many things. Right now, when I host any type of person, even if it's politics, if I host a person that is talking about politics, you will think I did political science. When I talk to a doctor, you will think I actually did medicine. Why? Because I have been on this journey of acquiring strategic knowledge for a very long time. So I don't want you to stop. And the reason as to why you're here is still to attain that. And I want us to do something else. Some of us, when we hear some of these things, yeah, or when we go to churches, when we go to events and we are stirred up, there are two types of hearing that we go through. One of them is just the mere hearing that brings awareness. Now, that is where some of us stop. Do you know why people lift chairs and they shout and they scream? It's because there is awareness. And we have gone through all that, right? Even while you're seated here, there is some awareness that is coming. But there is a second kind of hearing that I want you to be very careful about, is the hearing that brings conviction. Because without conviction, there is nothing you are going to do. Because the awareness is going to wear off. The moment you walk out of that door, the awareness is going to walk off. The moment my voice keeps quiet or shuts down, the awareness is going to, it can linger a little bit until you get home, and maybe you can write it. But do you know that some of you, when you write something, you never revisit it? When you're writing on your notes, you're like, I will go back. And you even say, oh, how should I write so that I can remember to go back? And then a year will go by, and you've never gone back. Now, that is hearing that brings awareness. But the hearing that brings conviction, it is the repeated kind of hearing. So when we talk about Hold My Hand and Trailblazers Fireplace, where we keep encouraging ourselves to better ourselves every single day, where we keep reminding ourselves to tarry the place of prayer in the presence of God, that you cannot build a brand if God is not building, that you cannot build a business if you're not building with God. As in, if you are alone, when the storms of the world come, they are going to sweep you off. When the fires of the world come, they are going to consume you. So many people started with very good visions, but sometimes you look for them even on social media and you can't. How many of us, you've ever tried looking for someone again on social media and you didn't find them? Anyone? Yeah? Is it because that all of a sudden they wanted to vanish? No. Sometimes the fires of the world come. And let me tell you, the devil will bring the fires of the world in different. Have you seen someone who is on a good trajectory, setting up businesses, and they're a go-getter, they're a woman, like they're formulating a woman movement, and all of a sudden a man lands in their lives with boo, and all of a sudden they start disappearing, especially after marriage. Yeah, they start disappearing. Why? Issues of the world are going to come. But the thing is, your purpose is steadfast. It's supposed to be unshakable. It's supposed to grow. It's supposed to elevate. It's supposed to go higher and higher. Guys, there is levels to these things. If you're writing a theme for everything we are writing, there is levels to this thing. There is so much levels to this thing. Now, when you talk about levels, I want us to read, that is Mark 10. 46, Mark 10:46. I think I will read very quickly. Then they came to Jericho, and Jesus and his disciples, together with a large crowd, were leaving the city. A blind man, Bartimaeus, which means son of Timaeus, was sitting by the roadside, begging. When he heard that it was Jesus of Nazareth, he began to shout, "Jesus, son of David, have mercy on me." Many rebuked him and told him to be quiet, but he shouted all the more, "Son of David, have mercy on me." Jesus stopped and said, "Call him." So they called to the blind man, "Cheer up, on your feet, he's calling you." 50, throwing his cloak aside, he jumped to his feet and came to Jesus. "What do you want me to do for you?" Jesus asked him. The blind man said, "Rabbi, I want to see." "Go," said Jesus, "your faith has healed you." Immediately he received his sight and followed Jesus. All right? Now, what we are talking about here, after the strategic knowledge, yeah? And then after the kind of hearing, because strategic knowledge comes with hearing, and we have said the hearing that brings awareness and the hearing that brings conviction. The next thing is the levels of faith. Because we are going to go from faith to faith and from glory to glory. The faith that brought you here is not the faith that is going to take you there. Do you know that some of you, and I want you to, just by show of hands, how many of us have ever been in a place where we are dreaming big, we are chasing, and then we reach somewhere and it just feels like we are stagnant? Yeah? It has happened to me. And you just feel like, okay, so what am I supposed to dream, to dream? Especially when you have food on your table, when things are a bit good, eh? When things get a bit good, there is a way, like dreams start shrinking. And that is where you need a reminder that your gift, your calling, your business was not here to serve just a season of time. It was supposed to grow from glory to glory. So if it's supposed to grow from glory to glory, and now you feel like your vision has started dwindling and you no longer have dreams, that is where we are saying the Trailblazers Fireplace and Hold My Hand is a place that is going to stir up your dreams so that you can know that, by the way. So I've been asking for clients for 20,000, 30,000, Smanyu meeting you for an hour. And there is someone who is saying, if you don't have 500,000 for an hour, please don't come. There is levels to these things. Eh? There is, as in, here people are inviting me, come and speak at our bridal shower. And then there is Bahati. who is chasing bridal shower, who is saying, I no longer have time for bridal shower. You get it? And you're like, there is levels to this thing. It's better I sit in rooms of people that are doing things that are bigger than I am doing, instead of settling in rooms where I am bigger than everyone else. Because then I will think I am the Goliath of the place. But when I start hearing people and they are speaking, let me tell you, at some point, what stirred me up was, you know, when you start getting a bit, things are good and they're happening and stuff like that, and then you meet a client and you're asking them, because they're going through an assistic marriage, and it was actually bad, they were being beaten, and on asking them, so how much money do you have on your account? Because these things of going through suffering and you don't even have any kind of money, like, what is that? That is time wasting. Yeah? And then the client tells me, you know what, I think I have like 350 millions. 300 and what? You guys, you don't know how to say the 350 millions. Why? It has become too much all of a sudden. Now, that's exactly how. It's not that I had not had that money. It's not that, but for someone to have it seated on their account, yeah? And they are running multi-businesses in Kampala. And then I was like, and I was like, now there is level to these things. There is actually level to these things, because kumachaya badati kula okuve China, there is another shipment coming from Turkey, yeah, and she has just returned. Next week she is going. Yes, she's crying about her marriage, and we are going through how to be able to recover and how to be able to heal and how to be able to bounce back her confidence. But while her confidence is shattered, she's shipping stuff from China. While her confidence is shattered, another shipment is coming from Turkey. While her confidence is shattered, she's booking planes upon planes to go out for business. While some of us, when our confidence is shattered, all we can do is eat lumonde. And overeat, for that matter. That is when you're like, you know what? Bakoleyo obuji obulimu gundi, obulimu amata. Ate bampe ekikopo ekyattampeko. Obuji tebuwoomera mu glaasi oba tebuwoomera mu bikopo bya bbumba. N'okituulako n'okinywa n'otuuyana. Naye nga confidence egaanye okujja. Wanji byonna tebijja gana. Did I tell you that she's a happiness coach? That is her calling, happiness coach. Indeed, agabye byonna tebijja gana. Wakiri ekimu kigane. Confidence egane n'obuji bugane. Ani eyandoga. Ekimu kakikole wakiri. Do you see that there is levels to this thing? Now, I need you to go into rooms that are challenging. Step into them and hear what people are talking about. Hear the kind of conversations that people are speaking about. While you are thinking your dream is very small, then you will go back and your head will pain. You'll be like, yeah? I've gone to some of these rooms. Let me tell you, women in Kampala are doing things. Women in Kampala. Someone is saying that, you know what, I just cleared 100 trailers from the bond. Cleared 100 trailers. And I've been chasing for their number plates and what, because I want them to be on the road immediately. But on the 100 trailers have been cleared, but she has more than 200 on the road. And meanwhile, we are praying for God for daily food. Give us today. I mean, literally, not the prayer, but literally, we are praying for today's. Ani atuloga. Wanji? So you realize that our belief systems and our mindsets. Now, when you look at this, yeah, because when God says that he has a plan for us, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. In the midst of your worrying of everything, he has a plan for you. Yeah? And that means his plan is his preferences. His preferences are that you will be rich. His preferences are that you will shake the nations, that you will transform lives, that you will never lack. That the blessing will go to the fourth generation, his preferences. But do you know that we don't automatically enter God's preferences? When he talks about abundance, we don't just slide into abundance. Say yeah, say yeah. Say yeah, ngenda muguru, ebyo tebikyaliyo. We participate to the level of our mindset and our belief system. That is how far we go in God's preferences. So, if you are where you are, I don't want you to blame God, because your God is my God and my God is another person's God, and the levels are different. Wanji? So now, look at the highest person and say, if her God is my God, then there is something I'm not doing right. And that thing falls only on mindset and belief system. The moment your mindset and belief can be able to align with your action, that means you are going to do more, you're going to go far, you're not going to be apologetic, yeah? You're going to open up that business, you're not going to act with fear. You're going to say, no, he has not given me a spirit of. He has called me to be bold. Do you know that when you believe that something cannot fail, it does not fail? Like, you will always find a way to make it work. Why? Because your belief says so, and because you have faith, and you have faith in God. All right? So, when God prefers Canaan for you, but you're still lingering in the wilderness, that is, his preference is Canaan, where you should have gone in less than 4 days. Yeah? But still lingering in what? In the wilderness. Bwakukamulamu self-sabotage, bwakukamulamu procrastination, bwakukamulamu ki ekirala? Fear, bwakukamulamu ki ekirala? Doubt, bwakukamulamu ki? Wanji, tubimanyi, because they are, sorry? False humility, pride, yes. Low self-esteem. You don't feel you are worthy of anything. And indeed, if you are not worthy, it's like when you're, that means you are at people's mercies. You don't have any self-worth. Yeah? And guess what? The hardest thing for anyone to kukamla from you are those things. They are the hardest thing. That is why you will say they are hindering you in January, and in December you will say they are hindering you. That is why you will say they hindered you 5 years ago, and right now you will say they are still hindering you. Wanji? That means tuko. A time has to come and you say enough is enough. I'm not saying it on anyone's behalf. I'm saying it on my own behalf. So now it's time to do things that I have not done before. Let me test this God. He says, test me. Let me test this God and see whether he will not open. Yeah? Let me test him with a seed. Let me test him with my actions. If he says he will bless the works of my hands, let me work and see whether he will not bless me. Yeah? As in, test him and go to. Do you know that when you test God, some of us, our prayer life is dwindling and dying because everything about us, belief system, everything is dying. Do you know that the moment you have something and you pushing out something, you have momentum to pray? Why? When you have momentum in one area of your life, you start getting momentum in other areas of your life. When you're launching out a book and you're saying, God, I pray that you transform their lives. I'm going to set a launch at this date. I pray that we have a good moment. I pray that as in you have something to pray for. Some of you, even your children, you look at them and you're like, like, seriously. The thing is, God gives us the desires to be well, all right? God gives us the desires to be well. But I want us to go to the first type of faith that we actually talked about, all right? The first type of faith that we actually talked about, and that is the faith for salvation. Faith for salvation. All faith is significant, but all faith is not the same. We said there is levels to this thing, all right? Now, faith for salvation, the saving faith, Ephesians 2 says, I'll just read it very quickly. For it is by grace that you have been saved through faith, and this is not from yourselves, it is the gift of God, not by works, so that no one can boast. Now, this allows you to access salvation. But again, it does not allow you it guarantees the fact that you're going to heaven, but it does not guarantee that you are prosperous on earth. It is the saving faith. That you will not boast that you saved yourself, but God actually saved you. But you can be saved, sad, and stuck. Ha! We need to print a t-shirt like that. Yeah? I am not saved. What? Yeah, of course we have to renounce it. Yeah? But the thing is, have you seen the saved, sad, and stuck? Yes. They are the 99.9%. There is only 1%. We are all struggling in one way or another, me inclusive. This journey of faith and spirituality is not a journey of kamanyiro. Yeah? It is a journey of aligning every day and believing God every single day. But now, yes, you are professing, you are saved, but you have limited access. You are saved, stuck, and you're stagnant. So that's when you get to know there is actually levels to this, yeah? Because there are those that are saved, happy, and growing, yeah? There are those that are saved, what? You can put any word that you want. Now, that is something that should even be on your purpose vision board, on your brand vision board. We are going to do a brand vision board, by the way, one of these days as we end the year, so that we can foresee what our brand is going to look like next year. Who will want who wants that? A brand, not a vision, but a brand vision board. All right? So there are levels to these things, guys. Let's go to number 2. Surrogate faith. Surrogate faith. It carries something on behalf of someone else. Mark 9 says that Jesus asked the boy's father, how long has he been like this? And the father said, from childhood. He answered, it has often thrown him into fire or water or to kill him. But if you can do anything, take pity on us and help us. That is the father's child that is actually praying. And then 23 it's saying, if you can, said Jesus, everything is possible for one who believes. Immediately the boy's father exclaimed, I do believe, help me overcome my unbelief. The boy gets a miracle on his father's faith. Some of us have been moving on other people's faith. Yeah? And sometimes we are so quick to tell people, pray for me, pray for me. But sometimes the people that you're telling you to pray for you are also saved, stuck. Just imagine, you're sending a prayer request to someone who is saved, sad, and stuck, and stagnant. What kind of prayer are they going to pray for you? Are they even going to pray? As in, no kusaba kuba koya. Because half the time they are out of alignment. Do you know a person that prays does not need longer prayers? That's why when someone tells me, pray for me, immediately, after I have read their message, or sometimes for me, prayer is activated by sight. I look at you, a word drops in my mind, and sometimes it can even be random people. For example, yesterday we were driving and I saw a man and I felt like his spirit was giving up. He was lifting a kavera and he was leaping slowly. He was going maybe back to his family. But I felt in my spirit that he was tired of the daily routine that was not yielding results. I felt like he has done the same job over and over again. His expenses are growing, but his earning is not helping, and he's at the verge of committing suicide. I felt that. I just saw him, and a prayer activated in me. And that prayer in that moment is a prayer that will move mountain. I was like, I will never get to meet this man, but I pray that his situation changes. I pray that you give him the wisdom to get out from, and the confidence to get out from wherever he has been hiding, the fear that has been captivating his heart. Because some of them, it's the fear of, I don't want to take another step. If I lose this job, I might not get another one. So maybe they have been a security guard for all their lives, and their manner is not changing, and yet they are being tasked, and yet their families are growing, to the point that they have to go back to the villages. So I just saw him and I was like, you know what? I am activating my faith. Now, there is surrogate faith. it's very possible that that man, his situation is going to change. And maybe he's going to think about a farmland he left in the village. And then he's going to start about doing business. And then he's going to start, and before you know it, he retires when he's happy. His children have gone through school, but he doesn't know that there was a woman who activated a faith, a surrogate faith. And that is why I tell you as a woman, it is so important that you have the faith that can cover your family. And I think I said it not just today, but even last week. That can cover your children, that can cover your husband. When they have little, let them move on your mercies. When they cannot pray, let them count on a mother that can pray. When they are giving up on life, do you know sometimes your child be giving up on life and you don't know that they're giving up? Do you know that children have committed suicide, but from hugging their parents downstairs or in the living room, and they go to bedroom and they hang? But when you are a parent that is activated, you can be a mother and you're not even at home, you are somewhere. And you will call to check on your daughter, or maybe God will tell you go back home or do something, and that will save your daughter's life. That is living in the presence of God, living in the wisdom of God, operating in the faith arena. There is levels to this thing. Yeah? So if you thought you were at any level, I want you to look at yourself and say, I am a koporo. Yeah? I am together, even me. There are levels to this thing, yeah? There are people that have gone on transcending levels. And that is where my heart yearns for all of us. As people helpers, for all of us that have callings on our lives, that have a purpose, that have been called to touch lives, that you will even have enough surrogate faith for your clients. Like seriously, people have walked into my office and we have spent 3 hours in an intensive marriage therapy session, and we go through the back and forth. Yeah, husband and wife. And then at the end of the session, I'm like, do you believe in the power of prayer? Let's hold hands. And the man who was like, I'm big, I'm untouchable. You can see that faith deflates their arrogance, and they're able to settle down, and they're able to offer me their hands. And I say, if they have been able to offer me their hands, my hands are a conduit of God's grace. You can never touch that and go back the same. My words maybe have not changed you, but God's power will change you. And guess what? Some of them have called me, and sometimes the men, and they're like, you know what? Out of everything that we said for the 3 hours, the prayer made a difference. And sometimes they're like, I am coming to your office and paying for a session, but all I want is prayer. All I want is just hold my hands. Some of them have gone and they've even had deals and what, and maybe they're lobbying for some things, and then they remember and they call me and they're like, you know what? I need to come see you, but I don't have the time. I have sent my money on your phone. I'm not coming to your office, but say a prayer on the phone. And sometimes they will call and say, do you remember the deal we prayed for? It actually went through. There is levels to this thing. I don't want you to get stagnated at your level. I don't want you to get used. Guys, I don't want you to feel a sense of satisfaction. We are getting into a season that is terrible, because when you start merrymaking, buying bread and blue band, and then we have Butala, you just feel like your whole world has been activated. You feel you are fine. Guys, njagalola bo Butala. But I want you to have a satisfaction, a holy dissatisfaction. Yeah? You see the butala, you see the good food, you see, I want God to activate your spirit, that you fast more in this season than you will ever fast in January. That you seek more his face, okay? So, surrogate faith. Have you understood surrogate faith? Yes. And most of this, remember Lazarus? It was surrogate faith. He's not the one who came to Jesus. It was Mary and the sister that came to Jesus. And he's telling them, he's sleeping. Let's even take 4 more days, yeah, doing our business. And then after the 4th day, they are going. But he went because of the activation of Mary, not even Lazarus. So what has been dead in your life or in another person's life, there is power, enough power in your life to activate it. If you have the faith and you believe that God says it's true. Let's go to this. Let me say second last. I hope that we get enough time to be able to actually cover it. All right. Okay, and that is the specific faith. Now, the specific faith, in Acts 14:8, it says that in Lystra, there sat a man who was lame. He had been that way from birth and had never walked. He listened to Paul as he was speaking. Paul looked directly at him, saw that he had faith and so that he had faith to be healed, and called out, "Stand on your feet." And the man jumped up and began to walk. So when God is accessed for specific needs at specific times, that specific faith is activated. That specific faith is activated. Have you ever been in a situation and you just felt like, you know what, I need to call God for this specific situation, for this specific, it can be a sickness, it can be a lack, it can be whatever it is, but there is specificity, all right? And you need God to move on your behalf. And you stop generalizing it. Some of us are generalizing everything. We love it when we see others fasting, when we see others praying, and sometimes when we see others doing it on social media, we feel like we have done it. Have you seen people exercising on social media and you feel like your belly is being stretched? You even save it, you're like, "Lumunja kakola," a year goes by and you have never done it. But while their belly was being stretched like this, you also felt like your muscles were being stretched. Hey, I hear, my God. Yeah? So, now, there are levels to this thing. But the level I want you to point at is the supernatural faith. The level I want to point you at is the supernatural faith. This faith is the faith that refuses to be trapped by limitations of human resources, of human understanding.